In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the Sumif formula with an embedded index and match formula. The Sumif formula with an embedded index and match formula is powerful when you want to summarize the data contained within a table and you have unique headers in the columns and the rows contain duplicate values that need to be summarized depending on whether that condition is met. Let's take a look at the formula in greater detail. So the formula is a combination of three formulas: the Sumif, index, and match. The Sumif formula uses conditional logic to calculate the sum of amounts in a given array. The index formula performs a lookup of an array of data. The match performs a comparison of data to a selected cell to determine whether they are equal to each other or not, and it'll find the relative position of that data within the array. When used in combination, we can index an array, find the match of data, and then take the sum if, depending on whether certain conditions are met. Let's start by taking a look at each of the formulas in greater detail. So first we have the sum if formula. The sum if formula has three different components to its syntax. There's the range, criteria, and the optional sum range. The range is the range of cells that you want to be evaluated by the criteria. Cells in each range must be numbers or names, arrays, or references that contain numbers. Blank and text values are ignored. The selected range may contain dates and standard Excel format. The criteria, on the other hand, is in the form of a number, expression, a cell reference, text, or function that defines which cells are to be added together. So you're always looking up the criteria within the range to apply your condition. The sum range is the actual cells to add. If you want to add the cells other than those specified in the range argument, then you can do that. If the sum range is omitted, Excel adds the cells that are specified within the range argument. The index formula has three components as well. There's the array, row number, and column number. The array is the range of cells. If the array contains only one row or column, the corresponding row number or column number is optional. If the array has more than one row or more than one column and only row number or column number is used, the index returns an array of the entire row or column in the array. The row number selects the row in the array from which to return a value. If it's omitted, then the column number is required. The column number, on the other hand, selects the column in the array from which to return a value. And if it's omitted, then the row number is required. The match function has three components as well. So there's the lookup value, lookup array, and match type. The lookup value is the value that you want to match in the lookup array. The lookup array is the range of cells that's being searched, and the match type you can set to -1, 0, or 1, depending on whether you want to find an exact match or not an exact match. Let's take a look at an example to bring all three of these formulas together. So in our example, an analyst at Goldman Sachs is provided with a below P&L in the table seen here on screen. And this P&L is for a company being analyzed for a potential acquisition. The analyst is required to summarize the P&L by category and show the Q4 monthly numbers only in a single table. So as you can see in the table here, we've got the P&L expense and revenue accounts. We've got the category, i.e. revenue, cost of services, gross margin, operating expenses, other income, other expenses, and net income. And then we've got the monthly data. So we want to categorize these and sum them, and then also only present certain quarterly figures. So let's take a look at how we can present the Q4 numbers summarized by category using the Sumif, index, and match formula to achieve this objective. In our solution, we've summarized the results in cells C96 through F103. We've got the header for the categories. We just inputted the category names in column C, and in columns D through F, we indicated the month in row 96, and then we used the Sumif formula throughout the table. And the Sumif formula is consistent throughout the table. It just changes depending on the category lookup and the header month lookup. So let's pop open cell D97, which shows an example of one of the formula using the Sumif, index, and match formula. Now, the Sumif formula starts with the range lookup, and in this case, we want to do the range lookup on cells D60 through D81 because that's the first condition that we want to apply, i.e. the category within our table. The criteria that we're applying within the range is the category. So in this case, for December 2019 and category equals revenue, we're looking up revenue within column D of the P&L table, i.e. category. So we're taking the sum if range of category criteria equals revenue, separating them by commas. And for the sum range, we want to index the entire P&L data for all of the months. And the reason why I want to do that is because we'll be applying the sum if to the entire table and just modifying it depending on whether the category changes or the date header changes. So we're indexing the entire data table, and that's cells E60 through E81. Cells E60 through L81 is all of the P&L data within the table. And then we're putting in a comma. And for the row number, we're not applying any condition. We're just going to be matching a column number because the row number, we're going to be already referencing the category, which was in this case revenue. So for the match part of the formula, we want to match the header in this solution table, i.e. the date. And in this case, we want to reference December 31st, 2019. So we're going to put the match formula in. The lookup value is going to be the date header, i.e. cell D96 for December 31st, 2019. We're going to look that up within row E60 through L60, which is the date header in our lookup table of the original question. And then the match type we're going to set to 0 because we want to find an exact match. We're going to press enter, and as you can see, we get a result of $250,000. If we were to take a look at the original table, we can see that revenue for December was in fact $250,000, so we know that's working properly. The revenue for November was $257,500, and if we go down to the solution table, we can see that that number is populated accordingly, so that's accurate as well. For the rest of the cells within the table, we use a very consistent formula. The only change is the reference to the category and the date header. So in cell E97, the category remains the same. We're still referencing cell C97, but in the match formula, we're doing a lookup of cell E96, which is November 30th, 2019, and we're looking that up into header E60 through L60 of the original data table, which is the date header, and then that way the formula knows to look up that date and return the column accordingly. If we go down to, let's say, cell D98, we can see that the cost of services becomes selected. And the way we were able to achieve that is by only locking the C, the letter C, within that part of the syntax. We didn't lock the row number, so that when we drag the formula down, that part of the formula, the C, the column C, doesn't change. And when we move it across, when we drag it across into cell E98, you can see that C is still locked with a $sign in front of it, but the 98 is not locked. And so that can be dragged down and it'll become 99 if we drag it down to row 99, and that's what we want. Similarly, for the match part of the function, we do want the header to change, but we only want it to move left and right. We don't want the header reference in the match function to move up and down, and therefore in that instance, for that syntax, we only lock row 96. We don't lock the letters, i.e. columns D, E, or F. So if we were to open up cell F99, we can see that the match function uses letter F for column F in the lookup value of the syntax and still uses 96 as the row lookup. So as you can see, the SUMIF with an index match function is very powerful. It lets you summarize the data, take the sum of data using multiple conditions to summarize data using a header lookup as well as a column lookup. So we're doing a row and a column lookup here, i.e. category and date header. Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.